Today we're going to talk about learning target 6, which says I can find the solution to a system of equations. Now a system of equations is when you have two equations working together. For example, y equals 4x plus 2 and y equals negative 3x minus 1. The solution to this system is the x and y ordered pair that satisfies both equations. So an x and a y that would make this equation true, actually both sides equal, and that same ordered pair that also makes this equation true, so both sides are equal to each other. Whatever ordered pair that is, it could be a decimal, it could be whole numbers for the x and y values, but whatever that ordered pair is, that's the solution to a system. One way that you can figure out what the solution is to graph them. Because if you have a graph and you graph one equation, let's say it's right here, this line represents all of the xy pairs that satisfy some equation. And then you graph another equation, and this line represents all of the xy pairs that satisfy the other equation. This point right here where they intersect, that point is a point that's on both lines, which means this point is a point that satisfies both equations. So this is the xy pair that would be a solution to this system of two equations. So let's look. You use this method. There's graphing, there's substitution, there's elimination, and we're going to talk about these in the next couple weeks. Graphing is the first one we're going to talk about, and graphing is most useful when both equations are solved for y, or you are easily able to solve them for y. So for example, we'll do these two examples. This first one, here's our system, y equals 3x plus 2, and y equals negative 2x plus 1. So I'm going to graph the first one. This is in slope-intercept form. So I start at a positive 2 on the y-axis. My slope is 3 over 1, so I would go up 3 over 1. Up 3 over 1. Down 3 left 1 to go the other way with it. Down 3 left 1. Down 3 left 1. Down 3 left 1. So there is one of them. The other one, I started a positive 1, and I go down to right 1, down to right 1, or I go up to left 1. Now, according to my hand-drawn graph, it's kind of difficult to tell where these two lines cross. I don't really know what that point is. It's a little bit to the left of the y-intercept, or the y-axis. So what I can do, and I would recommend that you do this often actually, is I can get my calculator, and sometimes I wouldn't even graph it by hand. I will just go straight to the calculator, because even when you do graph it by hand, sometimes it's not totally accurate, and so it can be difficult. There it comes. Okay, so I changed the brightness on my calculator. So hopefully we can see it more easily. Now, I'm going to graph both of these, and when I graph them, then I can use my calculator to find out exactly what that intersection is. So I'm going to hit Tab to bring the bar up there. I'm going to type in the first equation, which is 3x plus 2. Now I want you to do this with me. So if you don't have a calculator in your seat right now, pause this video right now, and then go and get a calculator, get it turned on, get a graph open, and then restart this video. Okay, so you should have a calculator now. So get a graph open, hit Tab, and type in that first equation up there, 3x plus 2. If there's already an equation there, just delete what you have, and then retype this one. And you just use the delete button right here. Okay, then I hit enter. So there's my first line. That's this one. That first one we drew, 3x plus 2. Now I'm going to graph my other one. So I hit tab again, and it comes up as f2 of x. So if there's something there, just delete it. And then I'm going to type in negative 2x plus 1. Enter. So there we go. There's my other line. Now I need to find that place where they cross. So I'm going to go to Menu, right here. And then if I go down to number 6, it says Analyze Graph. And remember, if I'm going too quickly, just pause the video and catch up, or you can rewind it. And then I'm going to go to Intersection. Whoops, too far. Intersection. And I'm gonna, you can hit Enter, or you can just like click right there. Now, sometimes, especially if they're not linear functions, a graph can have, two graphs can have more than one intersection. They can cross in more than one spot. So what this black line here, this dotted black line is doing is it's saying, I want the intersection that is in between where I start and stop my black line. So I'm going to put this vertical dotted black line to the left of where my intersection is, which my intersection is right there. So it's going to be somewhere over to the left. And I'm going to click. And then I'm going to scroll it over to the right. So it's covering that intersection. I'm going to click again. And now it tells me exactly what it is. Negative 0.2, 1.4. So I'm going to write negative 0.2, 1.4. This is the solution to this system, which means if I put in negative 0.2 for my x and 1.4 for my y's, both of these equations would work out true. One side would end up being equal to the other side. Okay? Let's come down here. Let's do the second one. We have y equals negative x plus 4, and we have y minus 2 equals x. I can't do anything. I cannot put this into my calculator. I can't really even graph it yet until I make this into slope-intercept form. So I'm going to have to add 2 to both sides. So I really have y equals x plus 2 right now. So I have a positive 4, and then I go down 1 over 1, down 1, oops, over 1, down 1 over 1. So it looks like that. And this one, I started a positive 2, and I go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. So it looks like that. Now here, it's a little bit easier to tell where they cross. Looks like they cross right here at the point 1, 3. But sometimes when I draw graphs by hand, I'm not very accurate, so I'm just going to check that in my calculator really quickly. So, it's out of there. I'm going to hit Tab, go back up to F2, delete what I have and hit Enter. Tab, go back up to F1, delete what I have and hit Enter. Now I'm starting over. So I hit Tab, I'm going to put negative x plus 4. Let's write down over here what we're doing. New graph, Tab, enter equation, Tab again, enter other equation, and then you go to Menu, Analyze Graph, Intersection. And then you move that vertical black dotted line where it needs to go. So I hit Tab, I enter my first equation, negative x plus 4, enter, and then I hit Tab again, I enter my second equation, which is x plus 2, enter, and then I go to Menu, Analyze Graph, Intersection, and I move it to the left of where my intersection is, and I click. Anywhere over here is fine. It doesn't matter as long as it's somewhere to the left of this point. And and then I click, and then I scroll it over to the right over the intersection, and I click again, and it tells me that the intersection is at 1, 3, which is what I got here. So that's how you can solve systems of equations by graphing. We will talk about substitution and elimination in the next couple weeks.